Hello, this is Professor Grant Thrall. The next step is, without performing a statistical test, what's your impression? And the impression is that if you have just a sample of data, the data that you have calculated the average on may not be in fact the true population mean. Next is, in Magnitude, create a grid layer of 1 by 1 mile squares and bring the map points back in. So I've got the latitude longitude coordinate here, and so I'm going to bring this database into Magnitude. So I will save as a 2003 to 2007 XLS. Save as Excel workbook XLS. I could have just used that, but let's go ahead and bring this in here. File, open, and I'm going to open an XLS file. And file, save as. From here I'm going to save this as a DBF. Then I open up the DBF and it says I have found coordinate information, and the X field is X and the Y field is Y, and this is my layer that I've just created, and now I've closed it down, and I will go and add that layer, and there we have our database. And included in my database are square foot of the property and the dollars per square foot. The next question then is, create a grid layer of 1 by 1 mile squares. I've already demonstrated this, I'll do it again. Then we want to count the number of observations per grid cell. So we'll go into Tools, Geographic Utilities, Create Vector Grid, and I'm going to call this a 12001 1 by 1 grid. And this is going to be an area grid with 4 points, so I'm going to have a square. And I'm going to cover the entire map with cells of fixed size with 1 mile on a side. And here's my grid. And here we can see it better. Now what we want to do is count the number of points per grid cell. And the reason why I want you to experience this is to show what happens once we go from the world of assuming that all economic activity occurs at the same point in space to now where location matters. So I'm going to perform an overlay, Geographic Utilities, let's see, analysis. I want to do an overlay onto 12001 version 4 layer. And really what I'm interested in is just counting the number of features. I'll go into Attributes, clear them all. But since we're here, let's calculate the average of the square footage price. And we'll also have the count of features. And we'll need to put in a band size here, 0.1, a tenth of a mile here we'll be willing to accept. And next is we'll put in 12001, average price, just remind me what it is. And so here we have our number of observations and the average per square foot. And with this I can make a choropleth map of the number of observations. And what I'm interested in is the number of features, say, we've done optimal breaks and see what we come up with. So we have 5 and below, 6 to 19, 20 to 37, and now we're getting into a category where we have statistical reliability per cell. Statistical reliability we have, and I will rearrange the order of the draw and hide the points. I don't need them anymore. So what this tells me then is that using this thematic property, that these which are above this range here have reliability, and those which are the lighter color, which is the majority of Alachua County, we won't have the statistical reliability for, let's say, movement of housing prices or what the average price is. within these cells here. So that's what I wanted to point out to you, is that geography makes life a whole lot more complicated.